We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are.
So, Saints Row the Remastered is coming out May 22nd, right? And there's been speculation that Saints Row 5 is gonna have an announcement very soon, and then there's like this uprise in Saints Row 5 videos. Well, I feel like it is because it shows up on my recommended feed a lot. So I wanted to make a video kind of like a wish list sort of thing, but I'm gonna only focus on like one thing I want the next Saints Row game to have added, and I'm gonna call it Dynamic Gangs. I think that's what it's gonna be called. But so what is this dynamic gangs thing I'm talking about? Well, I'll talk about how gangs first work in current games, except for Saints Row 4 and God of Hell. They're different. So Saints Row 1, 2, and 3, how the gangs worked was to take over a gang's territory. You would pretty much just do the story missions, and then you would kill the final dude, and then you've wiped out the gang, right? Saints Row 3 was slightly different. You had to basically do activities which would take over the small area. So if you did all the activities in Steelport, then you would earn 100% of the area and whatnot. Saints Row 2 was you just do the missions, and then by the time you do like the last mission, you have all the hoods and whatnot. So what would be the different thing that I'm asking for? So first, yes, we'll keep it the same. You do activities or missions and you can wipe out gangs, but it's usually the stuff where you're not doing missions and stuff. This is when you're outside of missions. So to make it more dynamic, usually we have I'm flubbing so many words. So usually in the games, it's always the Saints versus the world. So the Saints versus the Ronin, the Saints versus the Syndicate, whatever. It's always the Saints going at someone else, but you never see conflict between the other gangs that are inhabiting the world you're currently in. Like, you don't ever see the Ronin fighting the Brotherhood on their own. It happens sometimes because they may have crashed into each other or something. There are conflicts that happen randomly on the road, but what I mean is we never see any other gangs trying to take over each other's territory. It's like they're always living in harmony. No matter what Saints Row game you play, for some reason they're in perfect harmony. While when the Saints rock up, there's like, we're gonna fuck everything up, we're gonna take everything over. So it's always Saints versus the world. So the first thing to make gangs more dynamic would be to have conflict between all the other gangs. So there's this feeling of warfare going down all the time. So like when you open up your mini-map, there's always gonna be like a piece of territory always flashing, because it's indicating that place is currently under siege. And obviously I guess the flash colors would be the colors of the gangs that are fighting. So if it's Saints, if it's like the Brotherhood attacking the Saints, I'm just using really old gangs as an example. We don't know what Saints Row 5 is gonna have in terms of gangs, so like I'm gonna use the Brotherhood, the Saints right now. So if it's the Brotherhood versus the Saints, and their territory is being attacked by the Brotherhood, it would flash red and purple. If it was like the Brotherhood versus the Ronin, it would flash red and yellow. So it would be nice that in the next game, when we have new gangs and whatnot, they're not living in harmony but constantly fighting each other. There's like at least like one area on the map that's constantly under siege by a different gang, and it would be really nice as well. But also to increase the frequency. Wait, I didn't even make it clear that I was moving on to a different part of the thing. So another thing they could do is to increase the frequency of attacks towards the Saints as well. Like, there's 3 gangs, right? And then there's the Saints. There should be quite a bit of warfare going around. People shooting each other up and taking over each other's spots. I feel like once you take over a district in the game, it gets untouched. Like, it literally wipes out all the other gangs that were first occupying that area. It'll just only have Saints. You never see a rival gang just rock up and start shooting people up. It's just perfectly clean there. So there needs to be more fights between the Saints and other gangs, and the other gangs fighting each other off. I think that's all I had thought up of, honestly. It's just the gangs need to just fight each other more. Well, I guess that's how far I actually thought up of this. Well, in my head, it sounded way more complex and like intricate and stuff. I don't know, it's like, I think when you like finally say your ideas out loud, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound as cool as it did in your head. But obviously, devs are very talented and they could probably do something really good with this idea to make gangs not be, I guess, linear, and that they should fight back in a different way. So I guess this is the end of the video, and obviously I'm gonna probably make another video on what else I would like to see in Saints Row 5. Obviously I'll try and be more in depth this time, because I don't think this current idea was in depth enough. So I will see you guys in my next video. Oh yeah, and if you want to see more of this stuff and watch me get better at talking, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.
We are